Hello there my little Wookie. Now today we will be reviewing 75314, the Bad Batch attack shuttle. And boom, look how fast I built that. I actually built this on stream on my main channel and also on Twitch. Sometimes I build Lego, most of the time I play games. And we built this on stream while theorizing about the Bad Batch finale a couple weeks ago. So yeah, these are all the figures and we're going to get into that first. So this is our first figure and it's Tech. Tech is pretty good. His pistols are nice pistols. I would have used these as the DC-17s, like the commando rifle that most of the Bad Batch uses, specifically Wrecker. So I would have given Tech something else, and that something else would have been a pair of these classic clone trooper blaster pistols, which are DC-17Ss, so like the small ones, which is the thing that he actually uses. Overall though, I think that this is the best figure. He has his hairpiece, he has goggles off, goggles on. I think that it looks very good. I very much like his new helmet. I think if they wanted to make this go one step ahead of everything else, they should have made his visor collapsible, similar to this kind of visor on standard clone helmets. But okay, they didn't do that. And I like that they printed well on this helmet. This is just a generally very well designed custom molded helmet. So I very much like that indeed. And also he's the only member that actually gets a backpack. The rest all have printed backpacks, which we'll get to in a second. And if Tech was the best one, Echo is definitely the worst one of the bunch. First of all, they printed on his comma. Why would you do this? It's so easy to just give him one of these, just normal commas, and he could have worn that, and it would have already been so much better. Then he doesn't have a backpack, just like most of the Bad Batch, which is once again a waste. His head printing is very nice though. I think it is very good. You have his little thing on the back, and his face looks good. Everything looks kind of like a thin clone, which he is, because he's been a prisoner of war. His helmet also looks pretty good. Would have liked some kind of print on the back to show this thing coming through, but I believe, at least on stream, someone told me that it was not possible to print the back of clone helmets. So okay, that's fine. Front of his helmet looks good. Everything's good. His arm, utter disappointment. They could have just used this robotic arm from this photo here. They could have given him that like just standard attachment, or you could have put stuff on there. You could have put a screwdriver piece in there and it would have been perfect, and I don't understand why they didn't do that. This is just like a really lackluster, and that would have been such a good fix and would have made so much sense, but they just couldn't be bothered, I guess. Next up is Hunter. He is also pretty good. His face print is very nice. He's got an angry face print as well. And he's got a little skull on his actual bandana, so I think that looks very good. His hair fits. Once again, printed on backpack. Why? You could have just spent a little extra pieces. His helmet, pretty good. It doesn't have the same like thin sleekness that Hunter's actual helmet has, but that would require a whole new mold, so this is fine. This is pretty much exactly what I expected, and it's pretty good. Wrecker, he's also one of the better ones. He doesn't have a backpack, but it would have been very easy to give him one. He already has studs on his back. I like this piece to make him seem a little broader. That is very good indeed. Can't do a thumbs up because I'm zoomed out too much, but there, thumbs up. I like his face. His face looks very good. At the beginning I thought this would be an Iron Man helmet with like the front is collapsible, but they actually gave him this slightly different helmet, so I think it's all around very nice. And then we have Gonky. Gonky, he's pretty good. It's just a Lego Gonk droid. I would have designed him to be taller and less fat. Would have been better. Like in the actual show, he's a lot sleeker. He's not a big box like this. He's more of a tall box, so could have been better. And here, Crosshair. Crosshair is nice. I would have gone with a normal Crosshair and then release Imperial Crosshair in a later thing with Omega, or I would have included Omega in this set, but they chose to do neither, so
life is good, but it can be better.
It's not like you're gonna get normal Crosshair in a different set later now, because is always going to be Imperial Crosshair. And they could have made this a Clone Wars Season 7 base, and then maybe given us ARC Trooper Jesse. Would have been cool. That would never have happened, but at least this guy in his just classic outfit instead of his Empire outfit. We're now going to look at the speeders. This speeder I like very much. I don't think they should have included it. They should have saved the pieces, but it's a very nice simple speeder. Another fine addition to my collection.
A fine addition to my collection.
It's the speeder from episode 4, so it's a very good speeder for just like a civilian speeder, and it's very nice that we have just a simple civilian speeder. It's very well designed. Imperial Bark speeder, I don't really see the point. Of course it has stud shooters, which makes it look infinitely worse. For some reason they skimped. I don't know what happened. I don't know why they aren't the normal harpoon pieces that would be here normally. They just didn't do anything at all, and I checked the box and I checked the instructions. There's not supposed to be any. If I grab this, I believe this might be the first ever Bark speeder, but this old Bark speeder from the Battle of Geonosis set, look how much better it looks. It's a little bit smaller, and there's a piece missing because it broke off, but I think it's significantly better. I feel like it's way too big. There's no reason for them to have stud shooters here. This front nose is a bit strange, and also why would you not include the thing as guns on the back here? I can't fathom why. The only thing I can think of is that somebody forgot and just nobody noticed that there were supposed to be guns in here, and just absolutely nobody noticed. Time has come for the shuttle themselves, and as you can see it feels really small, especially next to some minifigures. It's like slightly bigger, and it would have been pretty much minifigure scale since they're supposed to come out of just like a door that's about this size. One of the reasons it feels so small is because it doesn't have landing gear. If it stood slightly higher, it would have already felt so much bigger, because then it would have been more like this, and that already feels a lot bigger. However, what I do really like, when the wings are open, this ship looks really good. Except that you have pretty much nowhere to hold it except if you hold it like this. Or, what I tend to do a lot is hold it here in the front, which looks really stupid. Because if you try to hold this, this opens. They could have made something here so that it closed and stay closed, and you could hold it up here, but you can't. So now you kind of have to hold it like this, which is, yes, there are spring-loaded shooters, of course, underneath. You shoot them like that. The back, like all around, I feel like they did it so, like there's so many so good parts, like these engine designs with these little cowlings that can sort of twist. I think that looks really good, and the shape of the wings I think looks really good. This is a bit bulbousy, but I like that it's printed. The general shape, I don't mind the blue color. I think it would have looked better in like a kind of shade of gunmetal gray, but that would have been really expensive probably. But if they could have sprung for it, imagine if it was all this like shiny gunmetal gray. That would have been such a cool. Imagine it was slightly bigger, all in this gunmetal gray color. It would have looked so sleek. The cockpit area, I have nothing to say about this. This is just a very simple cockpit area. I think it does what it's supposed to do. It's not feasible to think that they would have like a similar cockpit like they have in the show. That is just not possible to make on this scale. Then it would have to be big enough for 2 people to sit side by side with a little space in between. That would have made the ship so incredibly big. I very much support this cockpit idea. Now here we have 2 posters, one here and one here. Although I'm pretty sure they were supposed to be screens, but maybe they are posters. People on stream told me that they were supposed to be posters that hang up there. I thought they were screens. Like, they're pretty cool, but I don't understand why they're here facing the roof. I think that's kind of weird. They can just sit against the wall, which is pretty accurate to how they sit in the show. They also sit against the wall. However, if you put the entire Bad Batch in here, Gonky doesn't fit. What? Tech and Wrecker both have to sit in the back because they both have this backpack piece. That's probably why they didn't include backpacks everywhere. Could have made it a little bigger, and they could have included backpacks everywhere. So they're all in here, and Gonky is just left behind. The Bad Batch never leave Gonky behind. Gonky permanently lives on this ship. So that's a bit dumb. They should have definitely made it bigger. Then over here there is some storage. If you open this here, there's a little crate which you can pop out like so, and you can store stuff in it. I think this is a very well designed crate, and the locking mechanism is also pretty good. I have nothing to say about this, except that they could have just removed this and Gonky would have fit inside. So, okay, so now we come to my, what I think they should have done part. First of all, yeet the 2 speeders. This speeder may be included in a later set with Sid and Omega. This speeder, just completely ignore it. Imagine if you had this one and Fennec Shan's speeder or something. With the truck, you had the truck and you had this. Like, this speeder would have been better in a different set. Even with just like half these pieces, I'm pretty sure you could have still had enough like cost left over to make this a little bit taller. Just that it had like landing gear. Obviously they didn't want to include Omega. Maybe that was from Disney themselves saying like, hey, don't include Omega, we want Omega to be a surprise, which, I mean, she was in the trailers already, so it wouldn't really be a surprise. And that to be more of a surprise than Imperial Crosshair, I don't understand. But anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, this set could have been better. There's a lot of design improvements, and maybe I'll make a video about how I would improve this design, trying to use only the pieces in the set. So maybe I can bastardize this speeder to make this a little bit better.